Welcome to the Bringing Intimacy Back show, where intimacy is real. If you desire to intimately connect with yourself, significant other, children, family, friends, community, and higher power, then this is the show for you. We explore intimate topics, inspiring life stories, spirituality, and insightful tips on strengthening relationships. The show is hosted by Dr. April and her co-host, Coach K. Let's get this episode of the Bringing Intimacy Back show started. We share with you today the secret power to intimacy to create the life you love or love the life you create. Now here's your host, Dr. April, and her co-host, Coach K.
Welcome to the Bringing Intimacy Back show, where intimacy is real. How are you doing, Coach K?
I am doing amazing. How are you doing, Dr. A?
I'm doing great. Yes. I love the month of May. Well, I love any summer months. And May is just, it's a great month for, as things are growing. It's a great month because for many people who have children, we're toward the end of it. So it's a very busy month. It's also Mental Health Awareness Month. And I want to wish everybody, including yourself, a happy Mother's Day coming up.
Oh, yeah. And happy Mother's Day to you as well, because that is this weekend, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes. Mother's Day is definitely this weekend. Yes. So I'm excited about our topic today, where we're talking about intimacy burnout.
Yes, definitely, especially in this Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah, because many people get burned out for a variety of different reasons. And so I'm really glad that we're having this discussion. But as you mentioned, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And one of the best organizations that I really, truly love, and if you're into mental health, and if you're like, I don't know how I'm feeling or what I'm feeling, a great organization is Mental Health of America. Because Mental Health of America, they advocate and they provide resources for everyone living in the U.S. and without, that provides education, research, advocacy. And the other great thing about Mental Health of America, the website is mhanational.org. But you can go onto their website, and let's say you're thinking, I don't know if I have anxiety or depression. They have different little assessments that are scientific. It's not the assessments that you find on social media. It's really good assessments to test for a variety of mental health stuff. So their self-assessments are fabulous. And of course, they provide other resources for you to get help.
That's good that they have the assessments, especially for people who are they don't feel like their problem is important enough to bring to a person. So that's a good bridge into getting support. I like that.
Yeah, definitely. And it ties into our theme today about intimacy burnout. Yes. So when I was thinking about this, and some people are like, well, what is intimacy burnout? So I did what everyone else does, is Google. And of course, it is basically a breakdown of that emotional intimacy, trust, and connection. It's when a partner has this feeling of, I'm just exhausted about this relationship, or I'm just depressed. I don't know what to do. Yeah.
It's I can't carry this load of this other person anymore. I don't know how to do it.
Right. And one of the things I want to say, I'm going to say it 10 times probably throughout this. And so everyone listen up. And this is a fact. Your partner is not supposed to be everything to you in a relationship.
Yes. Actually, I think you should say it twice right now in the beginning.
Yes. Your partner is not supposed to be everything in your relationship. They can't be your priest, your pastor, your lover, your best friend, your hairdresser, your nurse. Yes, they
Yeah.
cannot be everything. You still need friends. You still need
Yes.
other things.
Yes. It's exhausting to expect that one person could absorb everything that you need in your life, because I'm pretty sure you're not able to absorb everything in someone else's life. So that is the quickest way to achieve intimacy burnout, is to try to be that person.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I had a couple recently, and he just he was losing himself, but he felt like his partner is supposed to be everything. You know what I'm saying? Like my best friend, my this, my partner, my help me with the business, help me do this, help me do that. It's like there's no boundaries. It's chaotic.
Yeah, that, and it makes the person who wants to be that support, that wants to be that rock, once you reach that point of crumble, it's like, now I can't care. Now I can't give you everything that I would like to, because quite frankly, I'm burned out. I don't have anything else. And the scary thing about that is, when you get to a place of burnout, there's no certain amount of months or certain amount of years. Your partner could experience burnout at a time when you actually do need them. But because you've utilized them so much for everything else, for this moment, they're not able to be there because they're burnt out. A burnt out, if you think of a piece of paper that has been burned, it
Mhm,
went from this solid mass, this one solid thing, down to a pile of ashes.
mhm,
And when you are leaning on this, or we'll just say, if you write on this piece of paper every day, the same piece of paper, you're everything that you're thinking, feeling, want, desiring, you write it on this piece of paper. Eventually that piece of paper gets completely full. With so many pen and pencil marks, it starts to wither down. It may can start getting holes in it because you're writing it so much. And eventually that paper gets destroyed. That's what burnout looks like for a person. When you picked up, held on, had placed on, wrote all over so much, you're no longer a solid mass for the other person. So I'm very visual. So I wanted to give that visual to people of what it looks like, because it happens over time, most times.
right, right. And when you depend so much on a person, then how can I put it? That sexual passion dies out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. If I'm being your nurse and your mama and all this, I don't feel sexy. And I do know, as couples get older, that sometimes we have to caretake, and and that's understandable. And there's boundaries around that. But your partner, especially for couples who are really out there that are young, yeah, yes, don't go into the relationship thinking I want my partner to be my best friend, go every place with me. Yes,
Yeah, that can absolutely become harmful for both parties, and it's extremely unfair. And yes, life isn't fair. We get that. But when we're able to make the choices, fair should be factored into it.
hmm yeah.
And
And so some people may say, well, how do I know that I'm experiencing intimacy burnout in my relationship? How do I know?
I would think that you want to love this, like you want to be there for them. When they're not in your presence, you want nothing more than to see them right there near you. But the closer it comes time for you all to see each other, you start feeling this anxiety, and you're starting to think, oh my gosh, what am I going to have to take on today? And so that yearning that you had to just want to touch and be around and smell and touch that person turns into, oh my gosh, they're on their way home. What is it going to be today? I'm going to run and hide. You start making excuses of why you can't talk to them as much, why you're not able to be present as much. And you start to step back, even when you don't want to. It's like you're having this out of body experience where your mind is telling you, we want, we want, we want, but the rest of you is saying, just step back. I'm overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I think it's also when you feel, I think in relationship, they're supposed to rejuvenate you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like you said, if you don't want to and you feel like this is very stressful, I'm going to be more exhausted by time, yeah, my partner comes home or, oh, yeah, because there's sometimes in a relationship, people like verbally vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have to clean that. I have to take that. I have to fix their problems. Yeah. Yeah. Your partner is not your therapist.
Yes. That is 1000. That's why there are professionals out there. And if you are relying on your partner as a therapist, then that may be time to say, hey, I or we need to go and seek some support outside of us.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I know there's a lot of us, including you, me, and a lot of people who do coaching, therapy, nursing. And as women, we're caretakers,
Hmm.
you know, and we feel like we have to, godly, I have to be there for my partner. I have to do this and that. My partner, you know, can't emotionally take care of themselves or a variety of other things, you know, it's too depressed to pick up their own, you know, mess. I have to clean up everything. I have to, and I know some people get intimacy burnout because they do everything for the kids. Their partner can't handle kids, you know? Yeah. What you have to do is find some boundaries for yourself.
Yep. And that can come with anxieties within itself, but that anxiety is short term versus not setting boundaries and having forever anxiety.
Hmm.
Because the first time that we have to say, no, this is my limit and this is my standard, to a person that you've just bend and bend and bend and stayed flexible for so long, it can feel like very stressful. And oh my gosh, I'm not able to fix this thing or be this thing. When in reality, if you look in the mirror, are you being that person for yourself?
Hmm.
Are you putting yourself on the back burner? And
Hmm.
if the answer is yes, then you have to say, okay, I don't mind feeling this stressful a little while to set this boundary so that we can have peace long term.
Right, right. And I mean, I think back in my own relationships. I don't know if you've ever had a relationship where there was intimacy burnout, where a person was just unraveling, you
Hmm.
know, they're, yeah, making all these threats and all this. And I'm trying to keep calm, trying to do this and that, but it was exhausting. And then I had to realize to myself, I'm in a relationship, you know, and that person's supposed to give as much, and I give and receive, you know, but it's not my job to take care of their mental health.
Right. And I feel like sometimes that gets off-sided by the doer, the physical doer, like the person that's always purchasing, or every time you ask to do something, they're Johnny on the spot, you know. And so in their mind, if I'm Johnny on the spot for these things, then you should be my everything. But when in true context, it's very possible that your partner's not asking you everything, only giving and asking of the things that are necessary.
Hmm.
Because if they poured everything onto you, would you be able to accept and hold that weight of now two people?
Right, 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 right. And I think that's a valid point that you make because sometimes, and I've sat in sessions where a person feels insecure that their partner isn't coming to them for everything.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because they're like, that's what I thought love or marriage is about. And I remind people that back in the 40s and 50s, marriages were not like that.
Right.
They each had their set of friends, you know, community and all that. And when you come together because if you come together so much and you're always together, there's no air. And
Right.
when there's no air, there is no passion.
1,000%. You don't have the time to miss those deep talks. You don't have time to miss just having genuine fun times together because everything is a crisis.
Hmm.
Everything is fix this. Everything is a verbal vomit of this negative thing happened. Hey, get you a group of friends. Y'all go out to happy hour, drink some beers, talk about it. So by the time you do that, when you do come home and you're giving information to your partner, it's kind of the outskirts. And you've been able to process this thing a little bit with a different set of people who may be more equipped to receive that information. It could just be a blow off of steam.
Right.
So now you can come back and just give the highlights to your partner so that when those important things come around, they still have the capacity to be there for you at full capacity.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. And I know we may have couples out there who are listening, and they both work from home. And I know I'm in that situation. You know what I'm saying? So the burnout is not because of extravagance, but maybe because it's just blah, we do the same thing over and over again, or we both work from home. We're around each other 24/7. How do you, go about and find um, different things to be interested in? Because I do think you need, some space. And
Hmm.
so there are couples that are out there. I know for myself, I go to different type of classes. I do some improv, some other writing classes. So I leave the house, and he does the same thing. He goes and does his meditation, and we, yeah, and even we don't go to the gym all the time together. We do because we need some space.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So even if you're working together, you got to figure out how can I balance this out with some individuality into this.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought up the working from home aspect because intimacy burnout in that situation is, it gets there like almost 10 times faster.
Yes.
And it seems that we forget that just because that person's at home does not mean that there's still not all the anxieties of work happening. And so, yeah, you may be in the same place, but when we get off work, we still need that decompression time because we've been in the same area. You
Hmm.
mentioned, you still have to respect, walk outside. When you get off, if you're on call centers, I know you do sessions and you turn that headphone off. And the first thing may not be run to the other room where your partner is to
Right.
say, "Oh, I'm off from work," and give them a hug and a kiss, versus sending a quick text, taking a short walk, and walking out the front door.
Hmm.
And having that person left behind understand that, okay, I get it. We've been sitting in the same air all day. If you were working at a company across town, you would have to walk out the door to drive home. So why can't I extend that same respect?
Right. And I was just actually talking about that same concept with one of my therapists who's kind of feeling, she had a long day of therapy sessions. And she talked about the transition of being online, and we talked about her leaving the house, go checking the mail, because usually when you're driving home, you get a chance to make that switch from house to home, but or from work to house. But when you're working from home, you don't get a chance to make that transition. So I love your idea about going out, checking the mail, going for a walk. I even suggest going to go get some ice cream or something, just doing some stuff for yourself.
1,000%. Because if you have found yourself that you're that adult in life that has not created a village outside of your partner, so you don't have that friend group. Maybe you guys got together when you were super young and you clung on to each other,
Hmm.
but you decided that, I don't need friends. I don't want to have friends. And now you're at a older age, 40s, 50s, 60s, and you your partner can't handle it anymore. And
Right.
then you look over here and it's like, well, I don't have anybody else. Then what do you do? So at the age that you are now, if you're listening to this, no matter what age, you could be 40, 50, 60, 20, 30, whatever it is, find ways to create avenues for yourself. They don't have to be, friends that you've known for years. They could be, this is my after work crowd.
Mm-hmm.
These are the people who I go to when the day is over. We meet up for happy hours and we just talk.
Right.
This is my workout crowd. These are the people who understand fitness, exercise. So we meet up at the gym every once in a while, or we go walking. Create you pockets of associates or people that you can mingle with for different aspects of your life. And that way you're not looking for this one single person that's, again, going to be your everything. Well, I don't want to make my partner everything, so I'm going to find this best friend. Now they're going to be, you don't want to do that as well. Get your pocket of people.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and then I was also thinking, a comment came through about couples who feel like their sex life is just burnt out.
Mm,
Yeah, where they feel like they're doing the same stuff over and over again, whether it's Thursday night, he watches a little TV, I watch this, we come together, kiss, kiss, sex, sex, you know,
and that's it.
and that's it. Yeah, and they're like, I'm experiencing burnout.
And here's the thing, and you mentioned it earlier. When you create that monotonous routine, that translates absolutely into the bedroom.
Hmm.
Pretty much everything that you do all day long translates into the bedroom. And so we think about it, okay, what can I do differently in life, period, that will bring me joy? Because if I'm joyous all day long, I may come home or get off of work and say, hey, babe, I'm feeling adventurous today because I went and I worked out, which is something I'd never done before in the morning. Then I went to work and I feel great. How about we try this? Da 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 da. Because I've done something different in my life that's going to translate into how I feel. And now the person who I desire the most, now I want to try new things with them because I knew how just going to the gym made me feel. Imagine me sharing now this new sexual experience with my partner, how that's going to make me feel.
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned it's doing things differently,
Mm-hmm.
because what you like at 20 is going to be different than what you like at 30, 40, 50. It is okay to try different things. I mean, that's how we grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah. And many times, I say to myself, well, let me try it at least once. And if I don't like it, I don't have to try it again. Yeah. But it's doing something different. So it's not that monotonous, the same thing over and over again. Because when you do something the same over and over, then what happens is you detach from your body and your body's there. You're not fully experiencing the situation.
Yeah. And your partner will feel that. They will feel that, you're not in it, you don't love me anymore, start creating these scenarios when in actuality, you're just burnt out. You're burned out from missionary. You know what? My back is tired from just laying flat on it. What can we do different? And sometimes it's just as simple as that. Listen, I am over it.
Right.
I want to do something new. Let's write down 10 things that we've always fantasized about. And you don't have to show me your list, and I don't have to show you my list.
Hmm.
But once a week, we're going to pull something from our list. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to try it. And then what we like, we keep. What we don't like, we throw out. What we got to figure out, we work together to say, I kind of like that new shower thing, but I'm thinking maybe if we try on the right side versus the left side, it may feel better.
Hmm.
It's endless if you all can use your own fantasies to create these new sparks so that the burnout is not there.
Yeah, I love that idea about putting things in a jar and creating new ideas. Yeah, that is really insightful, and I think there's a variety also of different books that people have that you can find. I even have one out there.
I was just say, do you have a book? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking, yes, yeah, as I was thinking about other people's book. But yeah, I have improving intimacy books that list a lot of different activities couples can try, and like you said, just find a few, throw them in a box and pick it up. And I love how you went about how we talk about it. So
Mhm.
instead of saying, honey, you're not doing this, you're not doing this, Coach K said, hey, this is what I need. I start off with I.
Yep.
Yes, yeah, because it doesn't put the other person in such a defensive mode if you use I. And if your partner is saying, I'm burnt out, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I try to understand, and then all you have to do is, how can I help? And then you start to work on it. When
Yes.
the partner brings a problem or an issue, that's also like that means they want to grow the relationship.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
you
is
don't have
super
to get
important.
defensive.
That's right. Because sometimes it's just not even about you. It is, you may just be a factor in it, but it may not be about you. So them saying, you know what, I am burned out. You may be a component of it. So don't automatically say, oh gosh, what have I done? What can I do better? Why don't you just say, tell me about it?
Mm-hmm.
Explain to me, because I would love to support you in the way that you need me to support you. And hear that the way you need me to support you, because it's not always about the fix.
Right.
It's about the listen, the comprehension, because
Mm-hmm.
and literally they may just need to have said that out, and now they've gotten that out, they feel light. A passion in them could be re-sparked right then and there, because they're conversing with their partner in just general conversation. And like I said, the things that you do outside of the bedroom, it absolutely translates into the bedroom. So you allowing them to get all of that off of them, they now have openness for passion spark to see you. Hey, they may whisk you away after that.
Yeah, and it really starts, like you said, in the communication.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and communicating, then showing up to your partner builds up that emotional intimacy, which at the beginning of the show, we talked about how intimacy burnout is when there's a lack of emotional intimacy, where there's a lack of connection. Yeah. So if you're feeling it, you start to talk about it and you work together to figure out a plan as a couple. And sometimes in that plan as a couple, it may be things that each individual person has to do on their own, which is okay.
A partner who's looking to grow within themselves is not rejecting their person. It's
Say it
them
again, girl.
saying,
Say it again.
a, a partner who's looking to grow themselves is not rejecting the other person. What they're doing is building themselves firm enough so in those times that they are needed, they can be firm for you.
Mhm.
And is it important for you to do the same? In a relationship, in a marriage relationship, any relationship, there's still two individual people that come together to form unions. You cannot mesh so far over that you're no longer that firm person, because who you fell in love with, who you built that friendship with, who you partnered with will no longer be that person if they open up, mesh over. So you want them to be able to rebuild themselves individually so that you can continue to come back together and have that spark, that passion, that light, that brightness. And that you will notice when they start to fizzle and burn out, because that looks like literally, okay, I know it's Thursday night. Tonight is sex night. We eat meatloaf for dinner and we go to the bedroom. 15 minutes later, we leave the bedroom, one sleep, TV. If you see that that's becoming just passionless, you may enjoy the meatloaf because you just love it, but the sex part has become just completely passionless. If you're noticing it, say something. I notice that now when we're having sex, I don't see any passion in your eyes. You don't hug me, you don't touch me, you kind of just lay there.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a conversation for as soon as you finish or while you're in the midst of throes. But that's a conversation to have when nothing else is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to have those open, genuine conversations are necessary, because now I notice that it doesn't seem like you're enjoying yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now I could be having the time of my life, but I notice that you aren't. So now I want to know, what can we do so that you enjoy this just as much as I do?
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the opportunity to say, I don't want to have, doggy style every Thursday night after meatloaf. I want to try something different. And that opens up the conversation to wherever it goes.
Right. And it's you speaking up for yourself.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So that is creating, because with intimacy burnout, if you, like you said, become so enmeshed, you lose yourself.
Yep.
But when you start and you notice it and you say, speak out, you make yourself stronger, which is what we're trying to say. It is good to speak out. When you start to feel it, speak out, say something, recognize it, because that's the only way that things are going to change. Things do not change if you do the same thing over and over and then expect different results. That is the definition of insanity.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. So as we've been talking about it, and as I said at the top of the show, in relationship, your partner cannot be everything. And we've talked about the different reasons why and how that can really just drain you or drain your partner.
Absolutely. And in that situation, I would add, please don't assume. Don't assume that, when you're seeing your partner burned out, that it's simply because of you. Ask. I noticed that you're super tired. I noticed that you've avoided me 3 days in a row when I called. Ask, can you tell me what's going on?
Mm-hmm. And Coach
Don't
K,
switch his name.
yeah, how you act was the way people need to act. It's that curiosity act. I'm curious. Yeah. Versus, I don't know what's going on with you. That kind of, yeah, defensive, or, you got something crazy going on. Yeah. Instead of, I'm curious.
Yeah.
I want to, know what's going on. It's how you also ask the questions.
Absolutely. That accusatory tone, you didn't answer me 3 days in a row. What's going on? That immediately is going to put that other person in, whoa, now I need to defend myself.
Exactly.
But if you're asking, I noticed this, can you tell me what's going on? Then that puts me in, okay, maybe I can trust you, because now that also opens up a level of trust. Because with burnout, guess what? Oh, there's a thing that goes in a burn. Fires don't just say, oh, I'm gonna burn this and not that. Burnout encompasses all of that. Trust goes in that.
Mm-hmm.
If I cannot trust you with me because you burned me out, now it absolutely because I'm not. It maybe because I'm not speaking up. But if you burn me out, then how can I trust you with me anymore?
Right, definitely. And like you said, it requires trust.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think this has been a wonderful discussion. Please, if you're out there listening, follow us up on Facebook, Instagram, and stuff. But we're going to take a break, and we'll be back to tell you what's coming up next.
Are you wanting a vacation in paradise? vacation to reignite the passion, the desire in your relationship, vacation counseling is just for you. We are deeply committed to your success as a couple. Our couples counseling retreats are exclusive, effective, and intimate. At Vacation Counseling, you will benefit from a combination of couples counseling, intimacy counseling, and individual counseling while you and your partner enjoy a relaxing vacation in sunny Southwest Florida. If you are interested in vacation counseling, please visit us at vacationcounseling.com for more information on prices and packages.
Welcome back to the Bringing Intimacy show, where intimacy is real. Yeah, so Coach K, that was a wonderful show. If you've been listening, please rewind and listen again. And remember, your partner cannot be everything to you. Yes, exactly. So what shows are coming up?
We have some amazing shows coming up this month. So next week on May 16th, we're going to look back at building self-confidences, love, handles, and all. On May the 22nd, we're going to have your mental health focus blueprint, and that's going to be with Dr. April and myself. And then on May the 30th, we're going to have a look back at knowing your boundaries.
Yes. I think that's going to be a very interesting. We started to talk now a little bit about boundaries, but that is really critical, is actually to know your boundaries. Yes. So if you've been listening, again, like I said, please follow us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Definitely check us out. We will be back. And this has been the Bringing Intimacy show, where intimacy is real. Thank you, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Bringing Intimacy Back, where intimacy is real. You can also find us at bringingintimacyback.com, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Dr. April Brown's 7-book series, Improving Intimacy, is now on Amazon. We'll see you next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Don't forget to follow, share, and subscribe.